Welcome back, everyone, to another Company Fears 2 replay cast. And this time we're going to have a 2v2 on Rails of Metal, sent in by LMTX's The King of Crimea, but his real name is Vaza1719, and that's what I will be calling him as. His friend is going to be Move Your Ass. They're both playing as the Soviets, and their opponents are going to be Figer, has the OKW, and Cheese Tonkatsu, also OKW. So two OKWs versus two Soviets on Rails of Metal. I am guessing that there's going to be a lot of Cubewagons and a lot of clown car action. Already Vasa going for the special rifle command. He's getting out some conscripts also, gets he wants the extra capping power, and Move Your Ass is just moving his ass and trying to get to the building before the Germans do, although with no Wehrmacht on the field, no MG42s, it isn't really that important to capture some of these places because MG34 only going to be coming out when the first converted headquarters is set up. So at least this is going to be pretty good for the Soviets. They're not going to have to face a lot of MGs at the start. And, ooh, I think that was a misclick. Vasa! Что ты делаешь? Почему? Почему? Get these people back on the front line. Vasa already showing his greatness, and he's going to go with a sniper. Of course, sniper, really good choice against double OKW with no counter sniper being possible. That's pretty much going to be a free one-shot kill for a long time. And, well, the Sturmpile's not really doing much of much at all. So it seems like first engagement is going to be coming out. Conscripts rushing back to the house, probably a smart move because these Sturmpiles can't get into cover behind the Stug due to the barbed wire placement. At this point, the Storm Pioneers managed to flank the house after receiving quite a bit of damage, but then they're going to be able to destroy the conscripts. Only two conscripts firing into the engineers now. And, well, Cubewagon going to be fighting these conscripts. There's more reinforcements coming in from the Germans. I'm guessing that they're going to win this engagement quite handily, although Vasya is coming back with quite a few snipers and troops to help. And a second conscript is going to be relieving the first conscript squad from this house. So I think actually Soviets are in a pretty good position. The snipers are going to get cut out in the open by the Sturmpiles and Volksgrenadiers. They're going to have to retreat. They managed to not take too much fire, but unfortunately there isn't really much that can cover them. Here comes the clown car without, of course, the flamer yet. So only the scout car really. And the snipers trying desperately to run away. Gets behind the wall, gets a little tiny bit of stealth. Here comes the scout car, going to be pushing away, hopefully, the infantry. Yep, pushing them around so that they cannot fire at the sniper. Sniper's going to be turning around and hopefully firing at the Sturmpiles. Of course, that is more useful than firing at the Volksgrenadiers. At this point in the center, it seems like the first Cubewagon is taking a lot of fire and has to retreat. The second Cubewagon, however, is closer to the fight and is full HP. All of the conscripts are very depleted, so at this point they're going to have to retreat, as do the snipers and the clown car, so lots of damage coming in. The Sturmpiles are very much in trouble, and they're going to have to retreat as well. Just a giant clusterfuck, and there goes the sniper. Excellent wipe from the Volksgrenadiers, and that's going to be a very, very bad loss for Vasa, the King of Crimea, because, of course, 360 manpower from that sniper. Pretty big blow for his early aim. He's still got the scout car though, and he's got a flamer upgraded on his combat engineers, and we only have one Rakenwerfer as a counter from Tonkatsu. So of course he's gonna be he's gonna be looking ahead at a possible clown car and getting out the Rakenwerfer, which is going to prove quite a bit of a boon, as the clown car immediately comes in and is going to eat the rocket in the face. Why does it retreat back into the rocket's arc of fire? I do not know, but well, I mean, to be fair, it was caught between the frying pan and the fire. Not really much that it could have done. Cubewagon also goes down to the Rakenwerfer, so Rakenwerfer really starting to destroy both friendly and enemy vehicles. Of course, this was to prevent the allies from stealing the Cubewagon. Pretty good little move. And Vasa, the King of Crimea, going with the unexpected defensive tactics. Glorious doctrine pick from Vasa. At 2 CPs, you have all of the doctrinal units available, including the Dishka heavy machine gun. which is going to be very, very strong on a map like Rails and Metal. It is a map that is not very wide, as you can see. So with 2 or 3 MGs, you can pretty much cover the entire length of it, or rather width of it. And so that plus the extra suppression and damage that the Dushka really does allow you to dish out, then that's going to be really good, really nice unit. Of course, also due to the buildings, building number 1, building number 2, those are going to be good places to put the Dushka and garrison the gun, especially with the support of the Maxim coming in from Move Your Ass. Move Your Ass going for the tier 2 support weapons, Campania. Of course, Vasa, the King of Crimea, doesn't really need to go with the support weapons Campania, not yet, because with defensive tactics, he's got both a machine gun and an AT gun with the 45mm AT gun, and also a mortar, the 120mm mortar. The big problem with these 3 is the 45mm AT gun, which is very, very weak, but the Dushka and the 120 both are better than their counterparts in the tier 2, so he's not going to be needing to upgrade that for a long, long time. Panzer Fusiliers from Chistonkatsu are going to be chasing down the Dushka, but at this point, yeah, they don't manage to get too many shots in to the crew before the crew manages to escape back to friendly lines, so that's going to be pretty fine for the Soviet players. Here comes a Lux by Fai, whatever. And the Lux is a pretty good choice. The 45mm and 42 AT gun isn't really all that good against the Lux, so we're going to have to wait until Move Your Ass goes for a 75mm resist free, which he's doing. Vasa is also going for a tier 3, which is of course a very, very nice pickup for him. He's going to be able to get a Su-76 or a T-70. I would go for a Su-76 with a Lux on the field, although a T-70 is also a viable option for him. He's got some penals up and running, trying to recapture some of these points on the right. Interesting little fortification coming down from Keystone Katsu. Definitely doesn't want the fuel point to fall to the enemy hands. He's got basically just the World War I fortification of a lifetime with the battle course plus sandbags and barbed wire. And, of course, the trench up here that's from the map. So really going to be hard for the Soviet player to assault this position. Here comes an excellent Satcher charge. Going to be forcing away the Volksgrenadiers and causing a casualty. 2 casualties, in fact. The Soviets are also fortifying up the center, and the Lux really has trouble actually hitting targets behind heavy cover. So this is a really good move to put the conscript behind heavy cover. And, well, with AT gun coming soon. Where's the AT gun? Okay, there's the AT gun. Very good. With the AT gun coming, the time during which the Lux has a pretty big influence on the battlefield is really rapidly coming to a close. In the north, it seems like the Soviets have a pretty good little fortress of machine guns going up, so that is going to be pretty impregnable for the Germans unless they come in with the Lux. And in the center, Vasya is coming in with a couple of conscripts, which are going to be quite good at dealing with the Sturmpioneers, Volksgrenadiers at decently long range. There goes a very nice anti-tank grenade from the conscripts. Unfortunately, the ZIS-3 isn't close enough to get a finishing blow off, and the conscripts are going to have to retreat as well. On the right side, it seems like nothing really is going on, and we have a Mapax-Wagen from Keystone Katsu from his battle group at couriers. Of course, he's also going to be going for a Schwerpanzer soon. Also in the same location. Probably I would have put it here instead of over here. Over here, it's very exposed to something like an AT gun positioning himself up here, perhaps with the cover of the Dushka sitting in this house. So it would in general be pretty risky to position a Schwerpanzer in something like this position. I would have placed it again over here to be a little bit more safe. It would have also been able to cover the field point and some of the VP as well. In fact, the Penal Battalion could have tried to charge in and gotten off a Satcher charge, but that would have been very risky. Satcher charge wouldn't have destroyed the Schwerpanzer entirely as well, so pretty good to just let it complete. Of course, with a Su-76 on the field for Vasya, he's gonna have the artillery ability plus the main gun of the Su-76 also is pretty good against the Schwerpanzer quarters. So it could be worse overall for Vasa. He's going to have a couple of ways to deal with this Schwerpanzer. In the center, it seems like the Germans have full control here, and they're going to be trying to extend that to the left side, but it is not going to work. They're going to be easily repulsed by the Maxim and a cloaked AT gun. Of course, the stealth AT gun is going to be revealed by the map hack wagon, so not really the best possible thing for our Soviet allies. And, well, at this point, the Lukes has been getting some kills, but with the Su-76 on the field, there's really not much the Lukes can do. Su-76 outranging the Rakettenwerfer 43, but the Rakettenwerfer is stealthed, and so the Su-76 doesn't really know what it is walking into. There's also a second Rakettenwerfer coming in. It is not going to set up, however, and that's very lucky because the second Rakettenwerfer was trying to go for the T-70 from Move Your Ass. So that kind of saves the first Su-76 from a horrible death. Now with the Soviet vehicles damaged, the Luke's attempts to come in, but this is definitely a mistake because there is the Su-76 still around. Su-76 misses its first round, Luke's eats a grenade from the conscript, so that is pretty okay. And this is going to be fine overall. Yeah, fine overall for our good buddies here. Yeah, overall, seems like the Soviets are going to be able to hold the line and try to push for the center. There's only the map Hexwagon trying to stop them, and that is not going to be enough. There's also a barrage of headquarters for Pfizer coming up in a pretty good position. He wants to, of course, have the retreat point closer to the front line so that he has a little bit of a better map control over the center. Looks like he lost his Sturmpiles, which is definitely a big mistake when you have a Lukes on the field. And he's also going to go for a Stuka, so he wants to be the more defensive player in the bunch. 120mm, Vasya, Pachimu. Pachimu's Nova. I mean, like, this guy has called in the 120mm mortar, and then he retreats it back to base. Just like he did with the conscripts. Oh my god. Poor Vasya. Got wrecked by Misplex. And, well, the first Stuka barrage does get a few kills off on the Allies. 11, in fact. So that was a pretty good barrage. Didn't get any wipes, but it did get quite a lot of damage off on the Americans. On the Soviets. And that is going to definitely put a bit of a fear into them that this gun can do quite a lot of damage. This Rakettenwerfer. LEIG support gun in an interesting position. Yeah. That's not how you position a indirect fire weapon that can't fire vertically. In fact, it's very lucky that that's not causing damage to the 75mm crew. Because if the support gun crew was taking damage from that, that would be pretty hilarious. Yes, it seems like... Okay, so the AT gun plus machine gun combination from Move Your Ass with a bunch of conscripts in support is definitely pushing the front line slowly but surely forward for him. Problem is that Vasya is having some problems on the right side because of the huge fortification. And whoa! Putting barbed wire in front of the Schwerpanzer headquarters. I mean, this is really only cool factor. I believe only tank traps actually block tank shots from reaching this. We'll see though, however. It might actually block because it's the reinforced steel barricade. It's not normal barbed wire, it's the OKW one. There goes the Lukes from a very, very good push from the Su-76 and the T-70. T-70 also tries to go in to take out the map Hexwagon. Map Hexwagon, however, has the support of lots of German units. It is not going to survive this. Most likely. Yep, there it goes. But T-70, yeah, I don't really see how it's going to escape. I mean, it could try to move through here and try to sneak past. Maybe even do some damage to Stuka, but with all these Volksgrenadiers around, yeah. I mean, it could still destroy the Stuka if it gets a lot of rear armor hits. Wait, the Panzerfaust missed! That is incredibly lucky. That is going to lead to the destruction of the Stuka. Wow, incredibly lucky. Incredibly lucky for Move Your Ass. And also, he's going to destroy the Kübelwagen. No, he gets completely demolished by the Panzerfaust. Wow, that is so incredibly unlucky as well for the Germans. The first Panzerfaust had decrewed, I think, the T-70. But Chistonkatsu went for 2 Panzerfausts just to be sure, and the second one destroyed it. Well, that was quite interesting. Lots of mines coming into the rear areas for Vasa. But unfortunately, they were all revealed by this poor Sturmpile, who got pretty demolished by the Soviet response. Soviets are also starting to bring out a few fuel caches. We have Vasa coming in with one, and we have Move Your Ass coming in with another, which is very good for their chances of winning, because, of course, the fuel caches is something that the OKW cannot go with, and they're going to be increasing that sweet fuel income by quite a bit for them. At this time, we have a Jagdpanzer IV coming in from Keystone Katsu, and nothing coming in from Feijer, who's going to be recovering from his losses. And there goes one of those Volksgrenadiers. Second Volksgrenadier, lucky to escape. And yes, at the same time, there's a bit of a harassment from the right side of Vasa, but really not much can be done yet against this fortified position of the Panzer headquarters. Of course, the Soviets have captured the center, and they have the Dushka there to defend it. They also have the 120mm mortar to cause damage to enemy troops standing too still for their liking. There's also a demo charge, so the Soviets really have fortified quite well in the center and left side, especially with the destruction of the Stuka. They're going to be in a really good position to just turtle up and save there. And wow, that's a pretty fascist way to say fuck. Wow, okay. Anyway, yeah, T-34-76 versus Jagdpanzer in the front. Not going to go well for the T-34-76 at all. But there's a Su-76M, which normally is going to be able to put down a little bit of damage on the Jagdpanzer, plus a flanking T-34. Something can be done about this Jagdpanzer. And we have a second support gun. And from the kill counts, I can gather that Keystone Katsu still hasn't really quite realized how to use them. Ooh, excellent grenade from the Panzer Fusiliers. Jagdpanzer still putting down some pot shots on the Soviet vehicles, forcing them away. In the meantime, we have a bit of a push in the center from all these conscripts from Move Your Ass. Move Your Ass has gone for the Combined Arms. Yeah, Combined Arms Army. And, wow, I'm proud of actually knowing what that was. He's got the L2 Precision Bombing Strike, which can be very useful. There goes the T-34-76 to a Raketenwerfer shot, very nicely supporting his Jagdpanzer with our Raketenwerfer. That was definitely a good idea. And the L2 Precision Bombing Strike can be very strong. Oh, that was unfortunate. That demo charge got revealed by the Sturm Pioneer Squad. This is why Minesweepers are just so damn important. Pretty good plays from the Germans, getting out those Minesweepers and using them. And then using the support guns, destroy the demo charge, which is positioned in a very, very good place. I would not have expected it normally to have seen a demo charge in that position. Here comes an assault artillery on the left side from the breakthrough doctrine. In the meantime, the Jagdpanzer are pushing way too far forward, and it is going to be, I think, such a charge? No. Luckily, all these German infantry squads managed to save it, but the Su-76 is going to be merciless and chase down the Jagdpanzer. Jagdpanzer does not know what it is being fired at by. Here also comes a precision bombing strike onto the infantry, but they've retreated since. And thanks to the support of this gun, the Jagdpanzer has been destroyed. There is a Panther on the field from Feijer, from his Special Operations Doctrine. And that is going to be pretty okay at hunting down this Katyusha that Move Your Ass has gone for. Of course, we don't know yet, or rather the Germans don't know yet, that the Katyusha has been called in. And also there's an ML-20 howitzer on the field for Move Your Ass. Interesting use of 600 manpower. Here comes a little bit of damage on the battle group headquarters. We'll see if the ML-20 can have some impact later on. Here comes a huge push from the German infantry, and it's going to get shut down by the Katyusha. That is to say, if the Katyusha doesn't completely miss. Very good grenade, destroys completely the house and the machine gun crew inside that was veteraned up. One of those Panzer Fusilier squads goes down, and that's even more painful than the Dushka going down. In fact, the Dushka can even be recovered. So very, very disastrous push coming in from the Germans. Excellent first barrage for that Katyusha, wiping out a extremely veteraned up and important squad. That was the veteran for Panzer Fusilier from Keystone Katsu, and that's the squad that can't easily be replaced and shouldn't be lost in any case whatsoever because it is very, very important. Meantime, the Su-85 is going to be, ambushed by the Raketenwerfer. No! Okay, it's going to survive. Also, Seems like the Rakenworfer knows where this demo charge is, because that was definitely a shot aimed at the demo charge attack round. Okay, so I'm seeing a little bit of a resurgence from the Germans, but they've also lost some crucial units, like the Stuka, like those Panzer Fusiliers, and like the Yak Panzer IV. So the Soviets are definitely still basically on the high ground. They just need to be consolidating themselves a little bit more. They're going to be putting down pressure on the HQs with their new artillery pieces. Both the Katyusha and the ML-20 are going to be pretty useful at putting pressure on the buildings. The ML-20 can damage the building itself, whereas the Katyusha can destroy infantry huddling around it. So at this point, it is a very good moment for our Soviet players to be aggressive and try to advance as much as possible. We have Vasa going to be starting to spam out 285s to counter both the Panther, the Yak Panzer IV, and the Yag Tiger soon, although the Yag Tiger is really, really good against Su-85s. Still, it is going to be quite useful for the Soviets to have some tank destroyers. I would also like to see just one T-34 be kept alive at all times by Vasa, because that would provide a little bit of extra versatility and anti-infantry, but I guess Su-85s and Su-76s are fine for now. Su-76 is up to vet 3, so it can do a lot of damage with its extra penetration and accuracy and rate of fire. Especially the rate of fire is really, really strong. In fact, it doesn't get an extra penetration. I thought it did. It seems like it gains damage. So only the Su-85 actually gains extra penetration. But yes, the rate of fire is really the big bonus for the Su-76. It gets a really, really ridiculous bonus at vet 3. So it is going to be very dangerous. The damage output is extremely strong, even if it's not going to be penetrating pretty much every shot. At this point, this Yag Panzer is definitely in trouble, and it shouldn't be doing that at all. In the meantime, on the left side, we have a T-34-76 from Move Your Ass. So with his Tier 4, the Soviets are both at their maximum possible teching. And oh, there goes another Focus Grenadier squad from Shistone Katsu. That is very unfortunate for him, but also, I mean, at this point, he should really be knowing that the Soviets have artillery guns trained on this battle couriers, and he should be disabling the retreat point to Greener Shores, also known as the command headquarters, because at this point, it would really be stupid to continue having your battle couriers be subjected to this kind of punishment, and to let your infantry retreat to it, thus causing even more damage. Because at this point, he really needs to avoid infantry losses. His manpower pool isn't that great, and his infantry force also is depleted. So he really wants to be saving up as much in terms of infantry and manpower as possible. And the best way to not do that is to get yourself demolished at headquarters. By artillery, of course. Vasa also going for a Katyusha. Interesting choice. I definitely would have preferred Move Your Ass going for only Katyusha-based build, and then Vasa going for a more non-artillery focused build, because that would have led to more coordination. Whenever you're only on one person managing your artillery, oh, this could be very devastating. Very, very nice. Canceling the retreat point and making the troops retreat back to base, and then reassigning the retreat points to the battle group couriers. That was a pretty good move, like that. The problem still is, again, I feel like one person managing two artillery pieces would be able to coordinate their fire a little bit better. Perhaps having one artillery piece fire at the enemy infantry and then having the other fire at the retreat point. But oh well. Panther Command Tank still around. Figer has managed to get a new Stuka. He already tried to use it to counter battery the BM-13 Katyusha. Very luckily for the Soviet players, it seems to have slightly missed with one of the rockets. A direct hit from a Stuka into the Katyusha. It's pretty much, it's pretty much a death sentence for the Katyusha, but if it near misses, it's going to leave it alive. T-34 flanking around, managing to get quite a bit of damage off on the German infantry. It's going to get chased away by the Panther Command Tank. In fact, Panther Command Tank is going to be diving in with the marked vehicle ability. Of course, with this AT gun around, it is not going to be too eager to chase. In fact, it's going to eat an AT grenade, which is what it was afraid of earlier. It's going to be repaired soon enough by the Sturm Pioneers, I'm guessing, but also, yeah, very, very good relentless barrages from the ML-20 howitzer have been taking down that headquarters, the battle group headquarters, so much that these Sturm piles have been essentially forced to just repair this instead of actually doing something more useful. Here comes another Katyusha barrage on the other battle group headquarters. This time it's Vasa's Katyusha. No, it's not Vasa's Katyusha. It's Move Your Ass's Katyusha, which is already reloaded up to 21 kills, definitely doing its part for the motherland. At this point, these two Panzer Fusiliers also forced to retreat. Very luckily, this is a 120mm mortar, and so even just one guy is going to be enough to retreat. T-3476 could have definitely been a little bit more aggressive in trying to get behind the Jagdpanzer to get the kill off, but of course it was afraid of the Command Panzer's existence. Still, lots of damage coming into the battle group. Here comes a Stuka barrage, of course, on the Hemel 20 howitzer. Doesn't really do a lot of damage. Very lucky that didn't do a lot. So a bit of RNG help coming in from RNG Stalin for our Soviet players. And, well, at this point, yeah, it doesn't really seem like the Germans are managing to break through this wall, right? We've seen the Soviets turtle along this line throughout the entire game, and it doesn't seem like the Germans can break it for any consistent period of time. Like, sometimes they come in and capture the middle VP, which has led to this sort of VP situation where we're very close to each other. Oh, this Katyusha barrage could be very devastating. Excellent one from Vasya, actually targeting it where the infantry was going to retreat. That was very, very proficient, and the Katyusha gets 11 kills and wipes out another veteran Panzer Fusilier squad. So this was devastating for Chiston Katsu. Also, Stolen Raketenwerfer going to be covering the Katyusha and along with the Su-85, getting a lot of damage off on the Jagdpanzer. Jagdpanzer eats a anti-tank grenade from those conscripts. Very luckily, there's this Panther ready and able to defend it from any kind of attack and any kind of chase from the Soviets. But overall, it seems like the Germans are slowly but surely being pushed back to their bases by the artillery of the Soviets and their very good usage of medium vehicles and anti-tank guns. So at this point, really, Chiston Katsu should have gone for a Jagdtiger, because that would have helped immensely in breaking the front line of anti-tank tank destroyers for the Soviets, because T-3476s, yeah, they can try to flank, but there's only one T-3476 on the field to quote-unquote counter the Jagdtiger. The rest of the Soviet vehicles right now are... What happened to the Su-76? I don't know. Su-76 is dead. Are pretty easily countered by the Jagdtiger. So I feel like Chiston Katsu, if he had been a little bit more careful with his manpower, if he had saved up a little bit more, he could have definitely gone for a Jagdtiger, and that Jagdtiger would be very, very useful in dealing with a lot of these things that are causing trouble to the Germans. And here comes the Stuka barrage, gets a lot of damage off on the M16 ZSU half-track, destroying it. Unfortunately, it does not destroy the M20 120mm mortar. Nice demo charge, by the way, in a very good position. This could be a wipe soon enough if the Germans decide to try a bit of a push towards this northern VP. They could try to get some of their infantry into the trench, and that would be their end. In the meantime, Su-85 definitely getting a lot of shots off on the Jagdpanzer. Jagdpanzer also getting shots in return. Both are Vet 2, so both have some pretty good bonuses. At this point, the Dushka is being used marvelously to push forward and help out the conscripts in dealing with these non-veteran Panzer Fusiliers. With the non-veteran Panzer Fusiliers being around, the German infantry really isn't that much of a concern for the Soviets because of their superiority in terms of machine guns. They can try to keep these Panzer Fusiliers at bay as much as possible, although it looks like the second Dushka is going to be stolen as well. The first one has been stolen already, and this is going to be very bad for Vasya, but Vasya responding with a very nice BM-13 Katyusha rocket barrage. The second Katyusha barrage into the base would have been so good at this point. I wonder if the ML-20 is ready to fire. The ML-20 is ready to fire, but it is firing on this Schwerpanzer headquarters in the center. I'm not sure switching targets around from the battle group headquarters into that Schwerpanzer is a good idea. In fact, maybe targeting this Schwerpanzer would be better, because that would open up this VP to Soviet capture attempts. Of course, you also have the T-3476, which is almost ready to reach Vet 1 and use secure mode. Of course, secure mode is going to be a bit of a breakthrough for the Soviets because, oh, that very, very nice Katyusha barrage. So at this point, really, Katyusha's readings starting to tear into the Germans, and Feijer is down to 1 elite infantry and 1 normal infantry and 1 Sturmpile, so definitely not a lot of troops. In fact, he's going to lose his command panther as well, and his Stuka zu Fuß is definitely in trouble as well, so this is not good for him. Although the panther survives because the T-34 is merciful. T-34 is a merciful god, and he's going to only destroy the Stuka. I mean, I guess he's thinking that he's going to have enough time to destroy the Panther as well. In fact, here comes the Su-85, very nicely putting an end to that farce, destroying also the Stuka zu Fuß. In fact, at this point, the only thing that the Soviets are going to lose is the Su-85 from Move Your Ass. Not really a lot that the Germans can do. Very nicely going for a couple of these flak half-tracks by Vasa. This is a really good idea because the suppression platform that is this M16 is very useful in the late game whenever the enemy is starting to have other things to think about with their AT guns and tank destroyers. When they have other targets... Oh, there goes the T-34-76, unfortunately, from the Jagdpanzer. This little Zsu can fire on enemy infantry, suppress them really easily. Although, at this point, it can only... Yeah, right, it wasn't nerfed in the last patch, so it can only suppress if it's standing still. But still, it is a pretty nice little suppression platform. I'd kind of forgotten about that. Still, I like that he went for that. It is going to help him out. Also, well, it's not a reinforcement platform either, because it was nerfed. Right, I'm not sure if it would have been a better idea to keep it unupgraded and use it as a reinforcement unit. Oh, this could be devastating. Zarodino. Holy shit, that was a lot of damage. He could have perhaps even waited and gotten the second squad as well. I think that would have been a possibility for Vasa. Oh, this Jagdpanzer is definitely biting off a little bit more than it can chew. It's trying to take out the Susu, and, well... Here comes the AT grenade. Su-85, unfortunately, is still on focus site. It should really exit that focus site to get a little bit of a faster chase off on the Jagdpanzer. In fact, this might save the Jagdpanzer. No, it doesn't. The Jagdtiger is on the field, and the Germans have a double cap going. But at this point, counterattack from the Soviets retakes the sort of western VP. They're going to be able to take the center with these guards. And they're going to be able to take the south if they can concentrate all their firepower on destroying the Schwer Panzer quarters. First Schwer Panzer quarters taking a lot of damage. In fact, it's being repaired under fire by those Sturm Pioneers. Definitely doesn't want to be doing that because a random stray shot that goes slightly behind the Schwer Panzer is going to lead to the end of these poor guys. In fact, here comes the T-34-76, and this is the end of the Schwer Panzer quarters. Unless the Jagdtiger can do something about the T-34... which it is definitely possible. Here comes... Oh, no, this is the end. Precision bombing strike is going to put a very ignominious end to the battle group. Not the battle group, but the Schwer Panzer. Very good Katyusha barrage. Going to be dealing a lot of damage on the German troops with those rockets. 17 kills for Vasa's Katyusha. In fact, the Jagdtiger shoots at it. The Katyusha tries to run away. The first shot had missed very luckily. And here comes, oh, now the Jagdtiger has more than that to think about. Here comes a flank from the T-34. T-34 almost runs over an entire blob of German infantry. And the Jagdtiger exposes its rear to a Su-85, which is definitely worse than exposing it to a T-34-76. T-34-76, I'm not sure what it's trying to do. It should definitely try to go around like this instead of going into the front of the Jagdtiger, which is definitely the wrong move. The Jagdtiger, definitely... dangerous little vehicle. Here comes the Raketenwerfer trying to destroy the Jagdtiger as well, but it is going to be destroyed by the Schwer Panzer quarters 37mm AA fire. Here comes a satchel charge right into the rear of the tank, doing quite a bit of damage, but not really enough, as the Su-85 is still firing on the Jagdtiger, but at this point, Su-85 one-on-one, even with a wounded Jagdtiger, not going to be a lot. Cornered animals are the most dangerous animals, as we know, and at this point, these T-34-76 are going to be sent in to finish off the job. But can they? They get stuck on a lot of debris and on the Jagdtiger itself. And there's still a lot of German infantry around. Here comes a ML-20 barrage right into the Yak Tiger. Oh no, right into here actually. And also a Katyusha barrage into the rear armor of the Yak Tiger. Yak Tiger at this point is definitely going to be destroyed by this last T-34. Definitely, I do not know. Rakenwerfer is recruited by the Germans and is starting to lay down the heat on the T-34-76. T-34 manages to destroy the Yak Tiger. In the meantime, we have had a couple of nice capturing moves by Move Your Ass, so he has managed to secure a lot of territory for himself. Okay, definitely lots of losses for Chistonkatsu. In fact, almost total losses. Only a Panzer Fusilier is left. There is a KT on the field for Feijer, or Feijer, whatever you want to call him. And Chistonkatsu also has enough fuel for a new Yak Tiger, but he doesn't have enough manpower. So overall, things could be going worse for the Germans, but they could be going better. I mean, the Allies have complete infantry superiority and managed to keep their infantry alive throughout the game, even though the Katyushi were definitely more of a flashy little unit, causing huge damage, lots of casualties, like 66 kills between them. Definitely a lot, plus the ML-20 providing constant pressure on these headquarters. That was pretty funny. Just random artillery killing that poor Rakenwerfer crew. Yeah, causing lots and lots of pressure. Really, it was the infantry that let the Allies win this game, because they've had this infantry force alive throughout the game. They haven't lost a lot of squads. They always had a couple of support weapons to help them out in holding territory. They were always aggressive with them, and they were able to use them pretty much to screen their tank destroyers in the late game, which was pretty much essential, because without their tank destroyers, they would have definitely been run over by the Command Panther way earlier than this poor Königstiger could have even imagined being on the field. And at this point, the Königstiger really isn't enough. Another Katyusha barrage right into the battle group occurs, into the last remaining infantry of Feijer, taking out one of those Volksgrenadiers, and in fact, also taking out the battle group. Yeah, the Königstiger also taking lots of damage from this veterancy-free Su-85. It is not going to be enough for the Germans, and this is going to be a surrender. Very nice game from our allied players. What the Germans could have done differently? Well, I think that going for a Yak Tiger earlier would have been definitely good. Also, more unit preservation for the infantry would have been, well, quite nice. I think that was one of the main reasons why they pretty much lost the game. They weren't on their toes enough with their retreats. They should have been more ready after the first few Katyusha barrages to retreat their infantry as soon as they saw that the Katyusha was firing on them. And also, of course, they should have been mindful of the fact that there was the ML-20 constantly barraging the headquarters. So the retreat point being on at all times was definitely not the best option for them, because they should have been more aware of the amount of casualties that they could have taken if they had retreated into an artillery barrage. So they should have been more and more retreating towards the HQ as the game went on, to preserve more of the infantry and make sure that their tanks then had the adequate protection. And then perhaps, instead of going for so many Yak Panzers for Chistonkatsu, it would have been better to go for a Panther earlier and then go for a Yak Tiger. Because whenever you see Katyusha on the field, or even a P4, you really want to have something that can hunt them down, right? And the Yak Panzer IV definitely isn't something that can hunt down Katyusha at all, because, well, it needs to watch its flanks, so it can't really rush headlong into enemy artillery. And yeah, just leaving these Katyusha artillery pieces alive wasn't the best possible option for the Germans. But yes, overall, nice game. Thank you all for watching, hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you soon.